Hi, this is Laura Staley, and I'm back with another video. Now, today's video, I love to show people because it's like magic, especially if you don't know how to do these things. We are going to cover flash fill and autofill. And as those names seem to indicate, it makes filling cells easier. Now, autofill has been around forever in Excel land. Flash fill is a bit more recent. So some of you may know some of these things, but not others. And some of you, it may be all new. So let's go ahead and plunge in and let me show you what we're talking about. Now, on my spreadsheet, I have a list of first names, last names, and companies, and then a column with emails that's blank. Now, we are going to use flash fill in the first couple of examples. And the thing to understand about flash fill is that it allows Excel to notice patterns in something that you have already done and then apply that pattern to other cells. So let me show you what I'm talking about. Let's say that in all of these examples that the email address is the first name, last name at thecompany.com. And just we know that's consistent. And so instead of typing in each and every one, we could type in the first one and then have Excel do it for the rest of them. Let me show you. So this first line, it's Amy Banner at learner.com. If I enter that and I hit enter, okay, easy enough. Okay, now that I have typed in the first one, I'm going to highlight the rest of the cells where I want to apply that pattern. So I'm going to highlight D3 through the rest of the column. And then I am going to go to the Data tab here at the top on the ribbon. It's Home, Insert, Draw, Page Layout, Formulas, Data. And then over here, sort of on the right side, on my screen, I have three little buttons to the right of text to columns. And that top one is Flash Fill. So I'm going to click on Flash Fill. It's not the easiest thing to say. And I get an error. And what it says is it doesn't see a pattern. I need to enter at least a couple. So let me enter at duplex.com and then go to flash fill, and there we go. So this time it required me to enter 2 before it would do it, but I did not have to type in all of these other ones. It did it for me. So when your data is consistent and it's the same thing, then you can have Excel do that. Now, what are the odds of all these different people from different companies having the exact same pattern to their email? It's not good. But if you were entering emails from your company that does have a pattern, then it very well might save you quite a bit of time. Okay, let's look at another example. In this case, I'm going to go to the next tab, and in it, I've got the same people, same first and last names, and I have their social security number. Now, these are not real, so don't worry about people's social security numbers being compromised because the social security numbers aren't real and neither are the names. So that is not a problem. So instead of using the social security number in different things, this company decided to use the first 2 numbers and with a slash and then the last 4 numbers of the social security number so that the actual social security numbers wouldn't be used in whatever it is they're doing. So I already have that typed in. I have 38/3819. So I'm going to click here and I am going to highlight these cells and hit enter to move my active cell down. Let me show you. Okay, then I'm going to go to Flash Fill. I'm still on the Data tab and click on it. And not only does it enter the data that is already on the spreadsheet, the first two numbers and the last four numbers, but it enters that slash as well. So as part of your pattern, you can bring in characters that are not on the screen, whether they're slashes or dashes or at or whatever it is. So that is something else. Okay, now there's autofill. And what autofill does is it allows you to type something in and extend what Excel calls a series. And a series can be numbers or text or whatever. Now, if I just type in one word, the way you do autofill is you put your pointer over the lower right-hand corner of whatever that first cell is. It'll be usually in the most left-hand column, and you'll want to drag it across in the row, or it'll be at the top of a column and you'll want to drag down. So either way. Now you can go backwards. You can go left and up. I've never seen anyone do that in all my years of training experience, different organizations and people. I'm sure there's someone out there who would do it, but most of the time you go right or down. Okay, so I put my pointer over the lower right-hand corner. I get that black crosshair. Can you see that in the lower right-hand corner of that cell? And then I click and drag. Now, because I just have one word, it's just going to copy. Now, there have been times when I have been entering a lot of repetitive data into a spreadsheet, and I have the same word or the same text string over and over and over. And so I'll finally type it in and then I'll just drag it down however many cells I needed to drag it down and save myself some typing time. So that is one option. Okay, now if I have a number, I'm going to click on this, go to the lower right hand corner and drag, and I'm going to drag it over. And again, it copies the number. So if you have one of either text or numbers, it's just going to copy it. Now, however, in the lower right-hand corner, once I have dragged over and autofilled, it has this autofill options button in the lower right-hand corner of the last cell. Maybe, let me make this a little bigger so maybe you can see that. Okay, it's gone. So let me do it again. Okay, you see this? I'm going to click on the down arrow. And the default with one number is to copy the cells, like I've already shown. I have one all the way across. However, I can also fill series. And it assumes with a series that I want all those numbers to go up by one. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 instead of 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. So that's an option. Now, the other two options are to fill formatting only or to fill without formatting. And I'm going to go into formatting in a couple minutes and show you those options. But if these numbers were formatted, I could, instead of filling the numbers, fill formatting only and then type in different things instead of having the series of numbers, or I could just format the same number that is there. Okay. Okay, and then fill without formatting. So if the first one cell is formatted and I don't want the rest of them to be, then that is what this one is for. Okay, now you may not want a series of numbers that goes up by one. You may have another series that you would like, and you can designate that yourself. And here are two examples of that. In the first one, I start with 0 and then I go up to 50. Now, if I have more than one number, what that means is that the first number is the starting point and the second number is the interval. So that when I fill the series, each of the subsequent numbers is going to go up by the interval contained in this second cell. Let me show you. So I've got 0 and 50. If I go to the lower right-hand corner and get the black crosshair and drag across, then I've got 0, 50, 100, 150, and so on and so forth. And I could do that without typing them in. Now there's another one here, 1,000 and 2,000. My starting point is 1,000 and my interval is another 1,000. So if I click and drag to the right, I've got 1,000 through 6,000 because I designated the interval that it was supposed to rise. So you don't have to go up by whole numbers. And this is just to show you this. So let's say I have 1 and I have 1.5. Okay, and then I come back and I highlight these two numbers, get the black crosshair, drag across. I have 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, and so on. And so they aren't whole numbers. So that is something else that you can try. Okay, some of these things may save you a lot of time if you think about them. So I'm throwing out a lot of different options, hoping that you can see yourself using at least some of them. You probably won't remember all of them, but that some of them will save you some time in the future. Okay, now I've got these 3 lines. I have operations, it's bold, highlighted in blue, and then I have human resources and marketing underneath it with no fill, and they are not bolded. So if I click and drag down this time, it's going to copy operations and copy the formatting. However, I have this fill autofill options box. And I can click here and the default is copy contents, which is not what I want. It says fill, well, I can't see. Fill formatting only, fill in without formatting, and flash fill. So if I do fill formatting only, then it copies over the formatting, but it leaves the text. And then if I fill without formatting, it just copies the text just like it did before. And then there's flash fill. And it's basically saying it doesn't see a pattern. So I have to have a pattern there. So in this case, I want to fill the formatting only. And now I've applied that. Now you can also use the format painter like I showed in a previous video, and I'll link that down below. So either one will work. And these have to be next to each other, unlike with the format painter where you can have something formatted the way you want it over here and you can copy it here and down there. So, but this gives you another option. Okay, is this making sense? I hope so. Okay, I'm going to scroll down. Now, all of that has been text, numbers, and formatting. One of the places where I find that autofill really comes in handy is with dates and date-like data. So let me show you what I mean. If I am here and I have September 1st, 2020 typed in, and I go to the lower right-hand corner and get the little black crosshair and then drag over, it, unlike numbers formatted as, numbers, these are date, formatted as dates, it assumes that I want to fill the series with dates. So I've now got 9/1 through 9/20. And it goes up by one day in each cell. So 9-1, 9-2, 9-3, and so on. If I want another pattern, I can click on the fill options box down here, and there are some different ones. There's fill formatting only and fill without formatting. Those we already covered. But then there's some date specific one. It fill days is what it already did, but I can also fill weekdays. So notice it goes now 9-1 through 9-4, skips the weekend, and then has 9-7 and 9-8. Of course, this is Labor Day. It didn't include Labor Day, but if it weren't Labor Day, then it would be perfect. I also have the option of fill months. So in this case, it'll keep the date, but change the month. So I've got 9-1, 2020, 10-1, 11-1, 12-1, 1-1, 2021, 2-1, 2021, and so on and so forth. So if, my headings are actually using dates as headings is not a good idea, but let's say I have a date that I need to do a report and that's in my data set. I could just copy it over. If it's always due on the first, then I don't even have to type them in. Okay, and then the last option is to fill year. And what that will do is it will keep the month and date the same, but change the year. So I've got 2020, 2021, 22, 23, 24, 25, and in every single case, it's September 1st. So if I have to do something every single year, and that's part of my data set, then I could just fill it, click on the fill options box and choose that option, and bam, I'm done. So that is an option. Now, there are also, like I said, date-like data that Excel automatically has been programmed to recognize. So if I have January, I can click and drag and it will fill the months. Or I can have Monday, go down to the lower right-hand corner and click and drag, and now I've got Monday through Sunday. So those are just automatic. You don't have to do anything. Just Excel's been programmed to do that for you. So if you're entering months as headings, then you can enter January and then fill it over and bam, you're done. Okay, is that all making sense? Okay, I hope so. Okay, the last topic we're going to talk about in this video is filling formulas. Now, if you've watched my videos on formulas and functions, you've seen me explain this and do it, and so it may not be new. But for those of you who haven't seen them, we are going to cover this. Okay, so I have the grand total here. And if I put my pointer over the lower right-hand corner and click and drag to the right, it's going to copy that formula all the way over. And so, but the neat thing is it copies the formula and shifts the cell references for you. So my formula in my original cell was equal sum B2 colon B23, but in the next one, it's equals sum C2 colon C23. The next one would be D, and the next one would be E. So you don't have to sit there and type in every formula with their cell references. You can just click and drag. And it doesn't have to be a total. For example, I can say average. And then type in equal averages, equal average, and then B2 colon B23, hit enter. So my average is 12,366. And if I click and drag over, There it is, all the way across. Okay, is that making sense? Now, I cover how to do these actual formulas, the sum and average and a bunch of different other basic formulas in my introduction to functions video, and I'll link it down below in the spreadsheet if you want to know how to actually do those formulas. But this will work on any function or formula that you have, even a formula that you create yourself where you say equal this plus that minus that times that. If you click and drag it over and the pattern is valid, it'll just copy it over and boom, you're done. So that is the last way of using autofill. I hope that you see some ways that you can save yourself some time and also save yourself a lot of grief time trying to type everything in using flash fill and autofill. You have a good day.